If war against the Republican establishment is what former White House strategist Stephen Bannon wants, then war is what he will get. Deep-pocketed supporters of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, KY, and other GOP leaders have resolved to fight a protracted battle over the next year for the soul of the party in congressional primaries. It's shaping up to be McConnell, the Senate Leadership Fund and the chamber against Bannon, said Scott Reed, the senior political strategist for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And we will take that fight. But the task will not be easy. Strategists from both sides of the party's divide say recent focus groups and polling have shown that the frustration within the Republican base has only grown since the 2016 election, stoked by an inability to repeal and replace President Barack Obama's healthcare law. President Trump, meanwhile, has continued to cast his presidency in opposition to the current ways of Washington, which could encourage primary voters to buck the system in a way that endangers House and Senate incumbents. Just as in 2008, the election did little to let the air out of the tires, said Stephen Law, the president of the Senate Leadership Fund, a super PAC allied with McConnell that plans to spend heavily on Senate primaries in support of incumbents. The raw material of the electorate is just increasingly volatile. The first battle will conclude this month in Alabama, where the incumbent senator, establishment-backed Luther Strange, is fighting uphill against former state Supreme Court Judge Roy Moore, a conservative evangelical jurist who has twice been removed from the bench for defying legal decisions. Known for his conviction that Christian teachings are the source of all government authority, Moore has twice been elected statewide to the Supreme Court, but he also lost two primary campaigns for governor, in 2006 and 2010. He bested Strange by a margin of 39% to 33% in the first round of Senate primary voting last month. Representative Mo Brooks, Republican Alabama, who came in third in the first round of primary voting, threw his support behind Moore at a rally Saturday. It is truly amazing the audacity, the ego of the special interest groups and the political action committees as they try to buy this United States Senate race, thinking that with impunity they can run over the people of the state of Alabama, Brooks declared. In a sign of fights to come, the two Republican candidates are now competing to demonstrate their disgust with Washington politics. Strange, who was appointed this year to take the seat of Attorney General Jeff Sessions, begins one of his most recent television ads looking at the camera and announcing that he is mad at Washington politicians. Moore describes his campaign as an effort to hurt McConnell, drain the swamp and bring more radical policies to the Senate, including a possible effort to impeach sitting U.S. Supreme Court justices for affirming the constitutionality of same-sex marriages. Although Trump has endorsed Strange, Bannon is backing Moore, and using the conservative website he runs, Breitbart News, to hammer the incumbent as a swamp monster. Allies of McConnell have been blanketing the Alabama airwaves to shrink Moore's polling lead. After spending nearly $4 million on ads before the first primary vote in August, the Senate Leadership Fund plans to blitz the state with another $4 million before the September 26 runoff. So far this year, the Super PAC has raised more than $11 million, including a $1 million infusion from hedge fund manager Paul Singer last month, federal filings show. The Republican National Committee and the National Republican Senatorial Committee have also sunk money into the race to defend Strange. The Business Council of Alabama, working with the U.S. Chamber, plans a major employee get-out-the-vote operation to support Strange by arguing that he will be better for the state's industry and jobs. The chamber has also paid for a statewide mailer and an ad campaign that will include a spot during Saturday's Alabama and Auburn college football games. There is no taking it back, Reed said. Alabama is the big enchilada. The Senate Leadership Fund is also taking aim at Bannon himself in an effort to tarnish his position as a champion of the Trump political movement. Law released a statement on Tuesday calling Bannon dead wrong for using a recent 60 Minutes interview to criticize Trump's decision to fire former FBI Director James B. Comey. At the chamber, Reed echoed the criticism of Bannon for breaking with Trump. He is turning into a rallying point for the alt-right, which is kind of bizarre because half of what he does is damage his former client and friend, whom he served as chief strategist for, Reid said. Bannon declined to comment. But a person familiar with his thinking described the pushback by McConnell allies as the corrupt and incompetent political class taking on Trump's